Hi, and welcome to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today is Dr. Serena Huang. Now, Serena is an author, a podcast host, and does advisory work around AI. And we're going to be talking about how organizations can get out of proof of concept purgatory.
Okay,
Hi,
good.
Serena, and welcome to AI in 5.
Thank you so much for having me.
Look, it's great to chat with you, and we're going to jump right in. You've been in data and AI for 10 years plus. You do a lot of work and around this area advising. And I really want to focus in on, we're seeing a lot of kind of pilot paralysis here in Australia.
Mm.
And you're probably seeing it in the US as well, where, all of these pilots reportedly fail or just stall and don't really get into production. Have you been seeing that a lot?
Yes, absolutely. I think the official stat from last year was 95%,
Wow.
and I've looked up some other research, but it's somewhere between 70 to 95% of pilots fail. And that's been my specialty, kind of. For the past couple of years, I've been getting calls from CAIOs or CEOs saying, "Hey, our pilots didn't quite work. Come help us figure out what's wrong and help us get unstuck." In the unstuck process, I tend to do a lot of data gathering, talk to real people, and ask them honest questions like, why do you dislike your AI so much at work?
Okay.
And I get very honest answers. It's been very interesting. People, sometimes it's philosophical reasons that they don't want to touch AI. Other times, it's
Interesting.
more about what's going to happen to my career that's
Yes.
holding them back. So
Okay.
my manager hasn't told me what's going to happen to my job. So how can you expect me to change behavior and support your initiative if my basic need hasn't been met?
Yeah,
So
I don't want to use this tool that's going to take my job. Yep.
exactly, exactly. So I think I've discovered really in the process that trust is at the core of adoption barriers, if you will. And the other piece I found is, at some point after I get into the companies, the leadership team will ask me, so help me figure out what's working. We've invested so much
Mm.
technology, we got licenses, we got training, we got communication, change management. And then I would do the analysis and basically find that the thing that makes the biggest difference is the leadership team, is what
Mm.
leaders actually do. Because employees are watching what their managers do more than what they say.
Yep.
So if you're pushing everyone to experiment with AI, let's go bold, and then you yourself feel like, well, I have a team, I have people who do that for me, so I don't need to touch it. Or it's not strategic enough for me to use because I'm so senior. People pick up on that. So that's the
Mm.
number one differentiator. And so I keep repeating this very simple message to managers and CIOs and whoever's listening is leaders go first. They have to go first.
Yeah,
And
wow.
that
So
doesn't mean becoming AI experts. That just means you go first in trying and showing up.
so do as I do, not do as I say.
Exactly.
And what's a
Exactly.
simple way that a senior executive could do that? Like if the senior executive needs to show they're using it, what kind of use cases do they jump to?
For them, a lot of times it's about how to use AI to help me make better decisions
Mm.
faster.
Ah,
So decision quality, decision speed, and they tend to use AI as a thought partner, like pressure test the assumptions, or I'm considering a proposal. What should I be thinking about? What information is missing from whoever sent me this deck? That's a big use case. So it cuts down the processing time, if you will, and free them up for more complex decision making. And the I would say another one is perspective taking.
hmm.
Perspective taking meaning if I am going to a meeting with stakeholders and perhaps customers from very different backgrounds or new prospects, I want to use AI to take their perspective, give it some information about this person. What do you think they're going to react, say to what I have to share? And then again, practice before going into that conversation and hopefully close the deal.
Yeah, I love using generative AI in reverse and get it to ask me the questions rather than me asking it the questions. Look,
Ooh.
that's fantastic. Believe it or not, we're already at 5 minutes. But I love to ask everyone the same question, and I'd be really interested in your perspective. For an organization that's just starting its AI journey or is very early in its AI journey, what's your one bit of advice? What should they be thinking about? What should they be doing?
One number one advice is intellectual humility is what I recommend to leaders. Know
Mhm.
what you don't know. And frankly, first of all, everyone feels like they're very early on the AI journey. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how advanced they are. So sometimes you have to benchmark a little bit because we all feel behind.
Yeah.
And then be aware of what you don't know and seek out the experts to help you when you don't, instead of trying to figure out yourself. I think because AI is moving so quickly, if you don't ask someone to help and you're figuring out everything on your own, you will be left behind because it will take too long.
Yeah.
So that could be myself, of course, at datawithserena.com or other experts that you might know. But yeah, keep learning, stay curious.
Yeah, I love that phrase, intellectual humility. Serena, thank you so much for being a part of AI in 5.
Thank you so much for having me.